Synchronize. I just cleaned this room. It's nice and clean and shiny and boiling. It's absolutely boiling in here, and I'm covered in strange things that I don't know what they are. This may be recollected by some of those who recollect. I certainly don't recollect anything, so I'm questioning what it is even now. It's a terrarium. A little, what's it calling? A paludarium. I made this in a project a lot earlier ago, and it has been on my desk. It's a new cover. It's a piece of glass. It's very sharp at the ends. As you can see, it has overgrown. Why has it overgrown? It is because I have been... putting plants I find into it. I'm going to actually get you a close-up, not with that camera, because it's not terribly great. I'm stuffed with electronics, I have more phones than I can count, because they keep stopping working. So I can set this. Now watch this, watch this. I'm going to switch you over to being in my hands right now. Look at that. Now you have a view of what I see when I see. It's me over there. This is overgrown severely. So, first of all, on the lowest level, there is this substance, which is hard to see. Do I have a light? Look at that. It's well lit. Now, the absurdity of how I'm lighting it can actually be represented by looking at how I am holding the light. I just took it off the ceiling. So, down at the bottom, you can see there's one mulm and two roots. Mulm is that gooey, gross stuff that's on top of the sand and rocks, which really shouldn't be there. It's caused by biodegradation of biological matter by the organisms that live in it. It used to house a lot of pretty worms, but now it doesn't. Up top, there's this other stuff that continues to grow, moss covering the sides, and these little dots are no-stock, which is a type of cyanobacteria that I put in. So there's nothing really to look at that's interesting in there, just because it is a giant pool of vegetables. And yes, they are literally vegetables. So there's a story. It's not a great story, so I'll tell it quickly. This thing's hot on one end. That plant in question is called dollarweed. Where did I get dollarweed? Well, so firstly, most of you are probably somewhere where it's like, oh yeah, dollarweed, it just grows outside in the lawn. Not here. I had to go to a beach on a sandbar in Florida to peel this out of a parking lot. And then I brought it up here. It doesn't grow well at all. So this was really the only place that actually grew it. So what I'm interested in doing is taking that giant amount of edible vegetable and transplanting it into this tank, and then refurbishing what's left to be actually pretty, so that when this is on my desk I have something to look at. So the first stage is first to prepare this. What is this? This is that's an old fish bowl. It formerly contained nothing useful. So first I need to plot in there with, don't cut myself on this. I'm going to put that here for now. I can't see glass for a reason. It's like glass is difficult and transparent, so I'm going to bump into that and send that flying and break. So I'm actually going to not be stupid and put it here. That's a surprisingly good advice that I have come to realize recently is when you see yourself doing something stupid that's going to come back and bite you in the butt later, don't do it. Amazing how much that saves me, and amazing how many times I have done something completely nonsensically stupid and been like, oh, like why did I not do the 2 minutes to do this correctly, and now it's causing me 2 hours. The other day I was like, oh, I need to find my passport. I wasn't going anywhere. I actually don't know where my passport is right now. It might be at work. It's like, oh, well, where's my passport? I don't know. Is it in the safe where I keep other important documents? It's not that safe. That safe's mostly empty. So don't try to rob that safe. There's a huge bee outside. There's in a weird random folder in like a pile of papers in the closet I don't even go to. And I'm like, why is this here? It's with all sorts of car and stuff when I registered my car, and it's like, why did I not take the 2 seconds to take this passport out and put it in the important documents secure folder that I know where it is? Why did I just let it stay here with all this random stuff? It's because I was lazy for 2 seconds, put that folder on something, filed it away without realizing what it was, and totally forgot it was there. My desk is covered in copper acetate crystals, which is probably bad. My fingernails are turning green, so Kind of hard to work with aquatic systems, so I'll just not use that hand. So, I got a container. I got ingredients. Rocks. Pea gravel. Interestingly, both a useful substance for causing drainage and a horrible disease. Sure, we'll use some of that. Coir. Oh. Oh. Yes, that's reasonable. If you knew how good this smells, you would do the same thing. This is probably my second most favorite smell in the world. The first favorite smell is the smell of a hydraulic elevator in a shopping mall. It is considered the absolute best smell in my opinion. That smell of just like old carpet and hydraulic fluid getting hot is just the best smell ever. But this smells just slightly soft and organic and a little bit chemically. Coir is coconut fiber. It's the coconut shells get all ground up when they take the eating part out of the coconut and they make this powder, which is a very inert organic matter. It's similar in function to basically peat moss, except in this case it's less prone to acidity. Peat moss releases a lot of humic substances. I'll just use the whole thing. So dollarweed grows pretty reliably in just about anything, but I want a level of organic and inorganic. Speaking of inorganic, sand. Doesn't smell like anything. I almost tasted it, but the last time I ate a rock, I'm now missing half a tooth. Dentist can't fix it, so it's just I don't have half a tooth now, but that's fine. I have it. Could have measured ratios, but I don't like measuring things. It looks like that. It's actually kind of pretty for being dirt. And you say, well, why not fill this fish bowl with its intended purpose of fish? And the short answer is, fish are a pain to move. And when I move next, I don't want to have to carry fish with me. Also, this is a little small for most fish. Better fish, maybe. They can live okay in a gallon. You kind of want to aim for at least 2. Really, a betta fish is best utilized in, say, a 10-gallon aquarium. Interestingly, not alone. Betta fish are only aggressive towards other betta fish and betta fish that are fish that look like betta fish. So, a betta fish and like some ordinary looking, like if you put a betta fish with a bunch of neon tetras, they're just little guys, little blue fish. It's not going to do anything to them. They're very docile towards other fish species. People give them credit, oh, it has to be stored alone because it's so aggressive. No, you're thinking paradise fish. And even they're not that hugely aggressive. And that's my computer trying to take off into orbit. I'm like, what is the jet engine? Did I leave a fan on? Well, before it does overheat and fry itself in this boiling hot room, let me try to get this out. So the problem is going to be, it is in there. So dollarweed reproduces itself through stolons. And what a stolon means is that the stem of the plant grows along an underside surface across the land, slowly putting down roots at each node. So basically an underground stem. You can kind of see split there. Those are the roots. Those are a leaf at each node. This is a stem that was under the water level. This grows in aquatic conditions. Strawberries grow in a similar way, and that's how strawberries will quickly take over everything you own, and hopefully produce you some nice delicious strawberries. Unfortunately, I cannot grow strawberries reliably indoors. It's actually surprisingly challenging. So one of the other things that's notable is this. It's moss. Interestingly, I don't know what kind of moss. Identifying moss is so annoying. It's very hard. It grows really well in here. It's not Java moss, because I have Java moss. This is native moss. It's something that grows here. But it grows in water, and it grows really long. So it's basically like the North American Java moss, especially in situations where it has access to air. So I'm preserving some of it, just so that there's a lot of it. That's the other main member of this. Like, if you recall, I put in a lot of different mosses And that was the moss that really took off in here and really appreciated the conditions given to it. Ugh. There we go. So, there's the moss. That comes out. That little guy is what's left of the Ludwigia. That goes back in. And this whole thing. Those leaves are, I don't know why I didn't focus for a second, edible. They're food. Edible food. You can test it if you live near a place with dollarweed. It's not great. It tastes like a leaf, but not like a lot of leaves taste different. It tastes like something you would eat. If you cook it, it tastes weird. But I often, when I lived in Texas and this stuff was everywhere, I would farm this stuff like crazy and use it in my pasta sauce, and it's kind of the secret ingredient, other than mustard. Actually, this leaf looks not contaminated very heavily, so I can. Exactly like I remember it. Better because it's been grown in a very artificial environment. It's more tender. Like veal, but a leaf. Just slightly sour. A little bit spicy, but not overbearing. I would say it tastes most similar to a very mild arugula. I've also used in pasta sauce. I can't stand arugula. So I need to get the dirt out of the bottom. There's too much of it and it needs to go. Smells like outside dirt. Whoa, too close. Well, I'm back. The video just collapsed because it's on a computer, and Windows computer. They do a lot of stuff in the background that takes 90% of your processing power that you can't turn off. Basically, this computer was off for too long, so the anti-malware didn't run. So, oh yeah, you're doing an important application, you're doing something, you're using the computer for what you bought it for? So it's a gift, I didn't actually buy this one. Oh, no. 90% of your processing power is going to be used for something you didn't order for the remainder of the day. Which is why I don't like using Windows very much. It used to be user-friendly. Modern Windows, especially Windows 11, is, hey, all the stuff that you need to do quickly, let's give it an extra 10 steps to make everything look neat. It's like, you're not Apple. There's a reason we don't use, like, Apple software on things that aren't Apple. Apple software is bad. It doesn't, you buy an Apple product for the hardware. The software runs the hardware. You don't buy Apple software to run it on this. That's what we have Linux for. So, I need to siphon out that stuff. Hopefully all this massive amount of soluble copper doesn't ruin everything for me, but if it does, who cares? See? Siphon. This is an oddly satisfying thing. Add more water. This is a spray bottle full of water. I have a lot of these bottles that often contain dangerous cleaning chemicals which I don't want to spray into aquarium. So the way I test, yep, it's not bleach. So the idea of what I'm doing now is that there's grit and mud in the walls. This is acrylic. Acrylic, also known as a massive pain, scratches very easily. What I did just there probably scratched the bottom of this thing. So if you just go in with to wipe, and you go wiping around on the acrylic, you'll scratch it because there's grit. So another problem. Yes, I'm still here. I'm just behind you. Watch out! I'm around the corner. Another problem is that where I live, the water comes from underground. It actually comes from 3 sources, 2 of which are rivers, 1 of which I've swum in, meaning all the water for about a year was me flavored. Hard water. Also, if you recall how this is actually constructed, that column in the center is because this is one of those old Walmart aquariums where it's vertical under gravel filter. Under gravel filter in 1.5 gallons does nothing, but I used it as the basis for these carbon concrete blocks. What is carbon concrete? Go watch the other video. Still, it contains a high level of alkalinity despite the biofilm that has now been forming for over 2 years. This is vinegar. Usually acetic acid, always acetic acid. I've started calling it vinegar for obvious reasons. It dissolves some of the calcium without really affecting the internal chemistry too badly. Just remember, as soon as I put this water in, it's going to just dilute the vinegar back into the concrete, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is, nothing at all of consequence. So it's about 50-50 now. That puts it at the juncture with one of the middle of these moss-covered rocks. And now I put 1, Ludwigia goes back in. 2, the moss can now be re-adhered. Now granted, it's not literally re-adhering the moss. The moss has to grow and form the connections, but it's sticky enough that if I stick the moss to it, it's not going to go anywhere. So again, it's columns. It's shaped like this. So there's little spaces in between. That's where you pack the plants, and then they form roots and stuff to connect them in, so that it's all nice. And I think I put Java moss in here at once. Weirdly, this native moss wrecked it. Probably because this moss grows really well at a relatively low temperature, because this isn't heated. Sticks, some of which still have moss on them. So if they don't fit, force. Okay, so it is important to recall that the viewing angle of this assembly is this side. So that's what you'd be seeing. So, 1, you can't see it through that camera. It just looks like a pile of stuff because it's still dirty. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put this back on my desk. I'm going to clean the outside with ammonia. I'm going to put the lid back on. And I'm going to wait for it to settle down. And then once it's settled, I will show you a video of the final product, which is probably hours. If I remember, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years. Different for me, but it's right now for you. Well, I just couldn't wait any longer. It's actually you can see the reflection. See, that's what I'm sitting this on a bunch of fish food. So that is what it looks like right now, as of just being completed about 30-40 minutes ago. This came out nicely. I like how it's just at the water level. Now, there is a question. I'm getting reminders and notifications on a phone that doesn't even work. Can I focus on that? So yes, that is now sitting on my desk. There are very tiny creatures in there, but they're not very abundant yet. I think nope, that's a bubble. I will probably post random videos in the future once this starts to take off. This is just the setting of where it's sitting. Now the lighting structure consists of that light from Home Depot, which is neat because there's switches on the side where I can change the colors. I just use it in white mode. You may also notice that it is paired with 2 other terrariums. This guy it's a cool base. It's built pressed into wood, and right now contains more earth-based plants. You can see there's Ludwigias and a plant I can't identify growing in the back, as well as some water on the side. It actually looks pretty nice. There are weird bugs that live in it, so I don't know what they are, but that's what lives over there. The other container is a small saltwater aquarium built in a cookie jar. It doesn't actually contain any fish. It contains worms, but the worms aren't out right now. That's one of them. That's a worm. If I can find a video of the worms, I'll put it right here. Okay, I think I got a hold of them. These are the saltwater worms. It's a little shaky because of the way I have to hold this. They are nocturnal, so I had to wait until night and add a little bit of food to get them to come out. And I'm trying to get it to focus. There they are. They, for some reason, reproduce very quickly. And they're oddly hairy. And there's oddly a lot of them. They really like it when you put food in. They get especially active. Yeah, of all the things to have in a saltwater aquarium, these seem surprisingly durable. And I've been breeding this population for about a year now. Why? I'm not 100% sure. The longest one is about 2 inches-ish long. I don't know if they get bigger. I've never considered that thought before, and actually it's somewhat terrifying if you stop to think about it. I'm taking this video a bit later. Behold, life is already returning. You can see there's a copepod swimming around above these tubifex worms. There he goes. He's up in the corner there. Moving up and attempting to refocus my phone camera. A snail. Focus. It's hard to focus on a zoomed in thing with multiple planes. Oh, there he is. Some other microcrustaceans swimming around also. Actually, this thing works surprisingly well to be viewed under high magnification. All the creatures living in this terrarium are very, very small. Ah, there's a view above the waterline of those springtails I had mentioned earlier. They're very tiny insects that sort of feed on detritus and other things. The moss and algae is starting to grow up this stick just about... Oh, there's one. He's walking along the glass. Or acrylic, as the case may be. There we have a close-up of the Ludwigia with a few little things swimming around it. As to the question of what those are, I ain't got a clue. This plant is slowly regrowing. I'll have to add more. Oh, there goes another little crustacean. That one's red for some reason. I think that's a root. And while I'm here... this is over in the saltwater area next to it. That's one of those hairy little worms, as well as, and I had never seen these before. I don't know what those little squiggly guys running around on the glass are. I have never seen them before. They look oddly like the ones that live in freshwater, so this actually seems to be a convincing way to view, with the zoom on this ordinary cell phone, to view near microscopic life that lives in my very tiny aquariums. But yeah, that's a polychaete worm. They're related to earthworms. I have some video. I'll merge this to the video somehow. I don't know how, but oh, hey, there's some guys over here that are way more active. See, I think the end on the left is the head. They have heads. They have mouths. Probably teeth. I haven't looked that closely at them before to see if they do have teeth. Oh yeah, there's a good one. Look at him go! Now, in real life, that guy is about 1 inch long, so not huge, kind of thin, definitely very visible. There's a lot of them living down in the rocks. I don't know how they breed, but they do it a lot. Probably eggs, which to think that there's, in this water that sits on my desk, an extremely large number of worm eggs is probably not something I should think too deeply about. Apparently I can go up to a 10x zoom on this. I mean, it looks a little blurry, but like that is pretty cool. Like I can see his little head. Like, he's got little hairs. And there's his gut contents. Oh, he got scared. He shriveled up. He's going back home under the gravel with his friends. What is the... This is just the part of the video where I play with the zoom. These are the, back in the freshwater again, these aren't polychaetes, they're, I think it's a roundworm. Those two, ooh, that guy down there is going crazy. He's just like, ah! They move themselves to circulate oxygen. They live in low oxygen environments. So hopefully this video is brief, because it's actually not very interesting, but it was something I needed to do. Oh yeah, the other part of it. That's where the dollarweed is. It's in that on next to this, which is a different project. Well, I can't tell if you can even see me or not. But that's the end of the video. Hopefully it didn't go too long. I try to make these faster, but ultimately I can't tell which one of these little circle things I'm looking at that's you, so I'm gonna end the video.